All right, so tell just this is just for
Thank you.
you know editing purposes. Say your first last name and spell it for me, please.
Matthew Keene, Mattwkeen.
Where are you from?
Winder, Georgia.
What is it?
Winder, Winder.
I've been there before.
Really?
Yeah, I used to live in Lawrenceville.
Oh, right up the street.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Let's
Small
see.
world.
Yeah. It is. Go back. Okay, so would you mind holding his water for him? Because because I might want you to start, talk with your hands, and then, this was, you don't have to, but if you're standing like this or like this,
It looks
it's
too.
a little too frozen. I'd like you to be,
Okay.
relaxed,
Yeah.
Okay.
and you can keep it, and talk like that, okay?
All right.
So, won't have to worry about his eyes moving around and stuff.
No, no. So let's start off. Tell us how many years you've been driving.
And
Just
when you
be-
answer, look right into the lens, okay?
Not that we can tell. But
I've been with Prime since 2009. Came during Thanksgiving.
did you go through the PSD program?
No, I came with my license, but I did have to go
Okay.
through the
Let me
TNT
tell you
process.
this. So we're not going to hear her. So when you say
I
no,
need to-
I didn't, then we're not going to know
Yeah,
what no
just
means.
say,
So you could say
Uh,
I didn't.
I came to Prime with a CDL already.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. So I came to Prime with a CDL already, started, but I didn't have any legal logs, so I had to go through the TNT process so that I could produce enough logs and show that I actually knew what I was doing.
Where did you come from? And kind of expand on that. What did you do before?
I was in heavy equipment, operated heavy equipment, moved it around from job site to job site. So when I first came to Prime, I was actually going to go with the flatbed division because that was where my knowledge was, and they didn't have any trainers for the TNT process, so I ended up going with a reefer guy and decided that was a little bit better way to go.
The job that you had before, you were you kind of got out of your comfort zone of where you were, right? And what this is, did you tell them the theme and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we went over it briefly.
So the
Yeah.
theme is that we got to leave your comfort zone in order to prosper, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what were your feelings leaving that field and getting to another field. Yeah, you were comfort zone. You wasn't sure about over the road and all that.
My
That
biggest
kind of
fear
stuff.
coming out on the
Yeah.
road,
There you go.
my biggest fear coming out on the road was leaving my family. And then being thousands of miles away from home is a scary experience at first. I'd never been more than a few hundred miles from home at that time without some family members with me. So being out here by myself, man, it was a little scary at first.
That's good.
Can you just say kind of what your family is? Like, do you have a wife?
Yes, I have.
So just say, I have a wife and kids and something like that.
And the ages or something.
Yeah.
My wife, me and her have been married since 2009, shortly before I came out on the road, and shortly before our son was born. He was 2 months old when I started. They're now, my daughter's 14 and my son's 9. This is pretty much the only life they've ever known. My son comes out with me every summer, really enjoys seeing the country. Last year we actually ended up doing a rock crawling event out in the Moab Desert, so had a lot of fun doing that.
What's it like at times when you have to miss things with the family?
Yeah, how old's your son now?
My son's 9.
9, he said 9. So are you missing any events, school and stuff?
I've been extremely blessed. It seems like the good Lord's really looked out for me. Every big milestone in my kids' life, I've been there for. I've never missed a Christmas with my children. I've never missed a birthday with them. Those are my golden rules I won't miss. And then with the soccer and cheerleading and everything else that they've done, I've been able to be there for the big events of it. So that's a blessing there.
Is that attributable to, and I'm not trying to give my brother-in-law props,
Yeah.
but is Oakland
It
good about
is.
making that work?
Oak-
Can you say something?
My dispatcher, Oakland, is extremely good about getting me by the house. If I say I got something going on or would even like to be there. He's real good about getting me by there for that. Even if it's just for the day, he does a real good job of that.
Explain to me, or camera, how difficult it is, though, not having the physical presence at home. Like, how do you manage that and talk to your kids and stay up to date on them?
Technology has helped us a lot with the home life. I have FaceTime with the kids. Every night we have a ritual. We say our prayers together before bed. It just helps me stay connected with them a little bit. I have a video gaming system on the truck, and even though I'm not too good with it, my son still likes to get on there and play with me when we have the extra time. Little stuff like that really goes a long way to stay connected with the family.
Do you play Fortnite?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we do play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play Fortnite, and there's a few other games that he really gets into. Oh, sorry. And my back row was?
Oh, we cut all that out.
So let's talk about why you became a trainer. So say like I started training this time, and
Okay.
your apprehensions about it, or the reasons you wanted to, or both?
Would it be better if I started at the beginning of why I came to Prime? Because that actually
Yeah, just
circles
roll
back
right
into it.
and we can use whatever part.
Okay.
Let me, start. Okay.
All right, start your story.
When I first came to Prime, I actually came like so many do, on real hard times. Had a wife, 2 children, 1 newborn, and it was a real scary time, not knowing what was going to happen with the economy. So I came to Prime, and I had to go with a trainer when I first got here to get those logs. And that trainer helped teach me how to be more profitable here. So I made a goal then that I was going to be able to give back one day. And I worked hard, built my way up, and became a trainer here. My favorite part about being a trainer is being able to take somebody from not having CDL at all, take them through the PSD process, and then into the TNT process, and take them from nothing but a dream and being able to build them up into a full-blown career. And here at Prime, you can take it as far as you want. So you can own your own truck. You can start out with nothing, not even a CDL, and move your way all the way up to owning your own truck. So being able to be a part of that process, that's what makes it all worthwhile.
Did you have any, at the very beginning, did you have any doubts in your mind that you would be a good trainer, or you wasn't sure you'd be a good trainer? Or?
I did have a few doubts if I'd be a good trainer or not. But I was blessed. My father actually came to Prime, and he's the one that taught me how to drive. And he was my first student.
You got a motorcycle going there.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like a good Harley in the background, right?
There's nothing you can do to muffle out.
They're like, wow, they must have a thunderstorm coming
Yeah.
up.
It's
There you go.
rolling in.
You just dim one of the lights.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah, he'll get on it in a second, probably.
You drive a Harley?
There we go. Okay, you were talking about your father.
I was real fortunate. My first student actually was my father. When I first started training, he was my first student. He came in once he saw me start buying up a bunch of stuff and saw that I was making a pretty good living here. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, just start
so-
over, because I could hear it the whole time. Sorry.
Nah, you're good.
That's okay.
Okay. I thought I hit something there.
About apprehensive, wasn't sure about being a trainer.
I wasn't
If you-
too-
If you were good enough.
I wasn't sure if I'd be a good fit for a trainer, but I was real fortunate. My first trainer happened to be, or my first student happened to be my father. He didn't have any logs.
Say, my first student happened to be my father.
Okay. My first student happened to be my father, who taught me how to drive. So it was a learning experience for both of us. He helped me hone my skills as a trainer and move forward with it, and prepared me for my next student. Made it easier to ease into that process. I was real fortunate there.
So let's talk about what's hard about being a trainer. Like, let's talk about sounds bad, but
the bad side.
I'm glad there's so much positive from all these stories, but inevitably there are some negatives, right?
I can tell you about last week.
Be real.
Yeah, we want to be real with what makes training with another, person, and then we'll talk to Don too. But
I can give you one real quick. It just happened.
okay, yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know. There is a scary side to training. You don't really know who's getting on your truck, their history, whether or not they lied on their application. I actually had a student that did just that, and he blacked out behind the steering wheel. It was an extremely scary situation. Was able to stop the truck safely and didn't get into an accident, but just being honest about some simple questions could have stopped it all from happening. So that's the biggest scare of being a trainer. You just don't know if people are honest or not. Prime does a great job of, doing the backgrounds and drug tests and everything else, but, people still lie.
Yeah, you can't check it all, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not thoroughly.
Yeah, you
Tell us
can't.
about sharing space.
Okay. Sharing the space with another driver can be very difficult. You literally live in a very small, confined area, and you don't know this person at first. So, you don't know if this person likes leaving their dirty clothes laying around or leave their trash out and stuff. So it's a little learning curve right at the beginning. Best thing is to go ahead and get some ground rules down to begin with, and just try to make the best of it.
Did you see Jason?
Oh God, I would kill him. I'd be a murderer.
Oh, you know.
So let's talk about, now, does it ever happen, and I don't know with the trainer situation, I think with like a 2A seats it might be a little different, but are you ever sleeping while he's driving and vice versa?
Yes, he's in TNT now.
Oh, okay, so.
yeah,
you're on-
so-
okay.
So
Can
I'm
you talk
supposed
about
to be
that?
sleeping.
Is it another uncomfortable scenario, or is it just in the feeling of like you have to put your full trust in this other person?
When you're running team or TNT training, there is a point that you come to that you have to trust that other person. You're literally trusting them with your life. You have to go back there and get rest because that truck doesn't stop. If you want to make real money, the truck's not going to stop. And you have to get to that point where you can trust them. You got to get familiar with their driving habits and familiar with the road. It's amazing what you can tell from the bunk of that truck. You can tell if they're on the right road. You can tell what state they're in. If they're going in the wrong direction, you can even tell. Laying in bed. So you got to get real familiar with the way everything feels. Real comfortable with it.
This is a good segue in. So now let's talk about the actual cab space, right? You just mentioned how obviously you feel the movement, right? I mean, you get that. And most people at this meeting are going to get this. I mean, they're shippers, right?
Okay.
But really, very small percentage have really done any
That
mileage,
is-
right? In a
yeah.
truck. But let's talk about the living conditions, what makes it hard. And I want you to get specific. Fridge, TV, or just entertainment, entertaining yourself. Don't keep it PG.
There's your spot now.
Right. So
Am I back on it?
yeah,
Okay.
let's just and
I tried to
you could just
pivot
give
on
us
one.
something like what makes being in that confined space hard, like the little things, the ambiance about that.
It can be very difficult living with another person in real tight, confined area. You don't have a lot of space, so you're going to smell that person, you're going to hear that person, you're going to be best friends with that person by the time it's over with, or worse enemies, one or the other. It can be very difficult. You don't get a lot of personal room, so you've got to be mindful of that. It's you're sleeping in bunk beds with two grown men or two grown women or whatever the case may be. It's entertainment-wise, you're kind of limited on what you can do. I'm blessed. I have a TV, Roku box, get to watch Netflix. I got a satellite. I got the PS4 to be able to connect with my children. I got all these things, but it's still minimal in a lot of ways too. It's smaller. It's right there at you. So if one person's moving around, you can't do much. And then bouncing down the road, the TV's jarring around, or or whatever, it's hard to stay focused on stuff. But you make the most of it, you know. We do have a fridge. We are fortunate for that. We got a microwave. I got a rice cooker. It's absolutely amazing how much stuff you can cook in a rice cooker in the truck. I can cook anything from steaks to, you name it, it can be cooked. Hamburger helper, whatever. Little bitty rice cooker.
I'm on a diet, and you're saying that, and I'm starved right now.
I'm hungry. You had 2 boiled eggs today. So, let's talk about
Oh,
health.
the inside of the truck's gonna get interesting then. As long as you didn't have a beer, we're good.
Right, not yet. So let's talk about your health. I mean, you're still in good shape. I mean,
Oh,
how has that been
not-
hard to maintain?
When I first come out on the road, my health really did suffer a lot. Didn't have a lot of money to spend on a lot of things. I was sending everything I could back home to my wife and children. So I was living on basically Roman noodle soup. Found out real quick, you can't do that. There's not much nutrients in it. So started doing the 2 for $2 hot dogs, stuff like that. Health really took a hit. And this was before Prime got real big with the health. And now they're leading the industry with it. So full kudos there. But I've really changed my habits a lot over the years. Had to adapt to living on the road. I drink a lot of water. I always keep a case of water behind the seat. If it's not a cup of coffee, it's a bottle of water that I'm drinking, or green tea, if it's tea. I try to watch what I eat more grilled items and stuff. In the first 2 or 3 years, I gained about 60 pounds, and I didn't notice it until one Easter at home. All the family was over taking pictures, and then I got to looking on Facebook. I'm like, okay, got to do something now. Did not realize that. So started exercising and got some pointers from a gentleman here at Prime that heads up the division there, and hadn't turned back. Try to watch the weight now.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's
That was
great.
really good. I was like, I couldn't have scripted.
You know what I'm wondering about when he talks about the microwave and this and that? If,
The B-roll while he's talking.
yeah, we just have him do it, but he doesn't have to be talking or anything. I mean, just,
Right, that's what I was thinking. Is superimpose that while he's.
yeah.
Well, I think any other things. Again, I don't want any other negative points you want to make that about being a trucker is hard. Stress, anything, and you can be specific to not a specific shipper. I don't want you to say
I got you.
Cargill. But
Hey,
something-
Kraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Walmart. Come on now.
What makes it hard at the dock?
Yeah.
Some struggles you've had actually in the process.
Some of the things that make it hard and stressful out there is four-wheelers. Cars are always cutting you off. Absolutely make your life miserable on the road. I prefer to drive at night when there's less of them out there. Cities, terrible. The majority of your cities were actually, the city was founded and then they put the roads in around it, so they're not truck friendly. And even a lot of the shippers and receivers that are inside these cities, their docks are not designed for condo sleepers and 53-foot trailers. You're trying to back a 53-foot box and a huge truck into a spot that was meant for a little bitty box truck, and having to do it during rush hour traffic. So it can be a little stressful. Just got to take a breath and roll with it.
How are you treated by shippers in general?
The majority of the shippers are good. They usually treat us halfway decent. There are a few shippers.
Say that again, because I got a click. It was,
That, was it my?
no, I think it's I don't know, electrical or whatever.
The majority of the shippers and receivers are real good about treating us good. We do occasionally run into a shipper or receiver that doesn't like to treat us like human beings. They want to treat you less, talk down to you, and just, in general, just try to make your life miserable. So.
Hi, Megan. I'm watching the film right now. So he will call you right back. Okay. I had to figure out who Megan was. I'm like, oh, yeah, I realized it was
My daughter.
I did have one real bad experience with a shipper one time.
Start that again.
I had a real bad experience with a shipper one time, and this is when I found out exactly what kind of company I was dealing with here at Prime. It wasn't too long after I first started. I was training my father out on the road, and we went to this facility to pick up. And the load couldn't scale out for California. So I told him it needed to be reworked. It couldn't scale for California. And the shipper got very irate. The guy at the desk got real irate, and I called Prime immediately to have them explain to him that we have to have the tandem so far forward to go into the state of California, and that's where the load was going, so it had to be legal. Well, when I went to hand him the phone, he actually snatched it through the little bulletproof glass, snatched it through, slammed it up against the glass, and threw it at me through the hole. And luckily my father was there. I was a little bit younger back then, so he placed a hand on my shoulder, and it was enough to keep me calm. So I just picked up my phone, walked outside, and dropped the trailer right in front of their front door. Just dropped it right there, blocking their cars and all. Called dispatch back. He said, "What was that noise?" I told him, he told him what happened. He grabbed my phone, he slammed it up against the window and threw it at me, telling me that we didn't know what the hell we was talking about. So he said, "Well, what'd you do?" I said, "Walked outside and dropped the trailer." "Okay, good. We'll deal with it first thing in the morning, find somewhere to park." So next morning I got a phone call. Head of safety called me. I think it was Don at the time. And started apologizing for what happened. He heard everything. It was all recorded through me calling Prime. And said, "Great job. How much did your phone cost?" I told him, about $700, his smartphone. He said, "Okay, well, here's what we came to. We've been on the phone with them all morning. He has been let go. And your phone price, what it takes to replace your phone, is going to be taken out of his last paycheck, and he will be buying you a new cell phone. If you can give him about 15, 20 minutes to clear off the property, go back, hook to the trailer, and put it in the dock. They'll fix it for you. We can't apologize enough." That told me at that moment what we were dealing with.
That's good. Yeah, do you want them together or separate?
I only have one microphone.
Okay.
Now, maybe I could get them together when they're in there.
Okay.
moving around and stuff.
I think the camera's a little tight then. Yeah, now, how much longer are you going to be on the truck?
He just now started with me, but he's actually going to be driving one of my trucks, so I guess he's going to.
Keep fire away.
Okay, so talk about, say, hey, I started in construction. Well,
Oh,
actually,
you know
say
what?
your
First
name.
thing, say your name, spell it first and last name.
My name is Don West, D-O-N-W-E-S-T.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
My name is Don West, D-O-N-W-E-S-T.
Okay. All right, fire away.
All right, you mentioned, okay, you started off, you came from construction background and decided you want to go into trucking, and explain why.
Okay. My name is Don West. I was in construction management 25 years, decided to retire, semi-retire, and decided that trucking was a lifelong dream of mine. So I looked at five different schools and did my research and found that Prime was one of the best schools available. So in that research, decided to come to Prime, and in that, I got here February the 24th at Prime's front doorstep. So,
You went through the PSD program?
yes, sir, I did.
Talk about that.
In the beginning, in coming to Prime, I went through PSD, which taking my permit test, which was a struggle, being that I hadn't cracked a book in over 30 years. But the students that I went through with, we helped each other and struggled together. Finally went through PSD, I trifected first time. That was good experience. Built my confidence up, and then I went into TNT stage. I've got 11,000 miles up under my belt at this time, and it had to do with me having good trainers. Trainers were very important because they took the time to give me the tools that I need to learn what I needed to do. And that's very important when you get into a 80,000 pound torpedo and you need to learn how to drive something. And I've driven heavy equipment most of the 25 years of my life. And so that helped me adapt to driving a tractor trailer. But there again, I'd never been in a tractor trailer. So there, I had to really focus on learning something all over again. And then I had to come with the attitude that I was going to learn everything and utilize all the resources and the tools that were available to me.
Let me ask you, what's it feel like new at this, sharing space and everything up close with another person?
It's been tough, but there
Go
again,
ahead and start
Kind
at
of reshape
sharing
the,
space.
yeah.
Uh, the- being in a tractor trailer or a tractor in the cab area and driving, as a TNT student, basically all I have time is to drive and sleep. I get behind the wheel, spend 8 to 11 hours driving, and then when it's my shift, when my shift is over, then I go to the cab, in back cab of it, to the sleeper part of it, and then I go to sleep. And then we do this every day. It's like a routine. And after a while, you build up a routine, which, well, there you get adapted to it, and you know, improvise, adapt, and overcome kind of situation. So with that being said, you learn when to eat, when to drive, when to sleep, and you get on a routine. The routine is very important in this stage because it's building the certain tools you need to be a successful truck driver. So with that being said as well, it's all in the process of learning how and what to do, when to do it, your quail comm, the tools that your trainers give you to be a successful truck driver.
Were you in the military before?
Yes.
You sound like, when you said improvise, adapt, and overcome,
Yeah.
like, there's my dad talking.
That's Marine,
That's
isn't it?
No, I was Army, a paratrooper.
infantry. I'm like, that's my dad.
Well, my dad was Army, so.
Yeah, I jumped out of planes for a
Do you think
living.
we need to go over this before you have to leave and stuff?
I think you can manage it. But if there's anything else you need to get, I think we're pretty good.
It's only gonna be like a 3 or 4 minute